Hello YouTube family, James Green. Short series shenanigans. Got a couple things going on today. So, neat stuff. Figured I'd show you guys some more with the, here it is, drill guides, the Gator drill guides. This is the bolt gun build we're working on right here. So, yeah, the handle that came with my mill broke. Actually, it was welded before. I welded it, or tried to. I did the cleanup and used the rod, whatever they used before, and it was, again, this actually just fell and snapped, and I used the silver solder stuff, or the stuff you can use with cast iron, cast steel. There was a couple spots in here, it just, the weld wouldn't hold, but anyway, so that was a temporary fix until the new one came in. So, a little bit different shape. Make sure it lines up. Oh yeah. Nice, sharp, crisp edges. So, actually picked this up on eBay from a company in Nashville. You go on there and put mill handles, you'll see it. This was like 35 bucks shipped. So, I'm going to use some 271 Loctite on this little thing here, because I do not want that piece coming loose. Because see, it's got a little swivel there too, which is kind of nice. Whereas the other one had been, you know, abused for some time. So anyway, we're going to put some Loctite on here. I'm a big fan of the different types of Loctite. Some of you want to be able to pull back apart. This one I do not, for obvious reasons. I don't want that coming out. So, new handle for the knee on the mill. There we go. Always wipe that little bit of extra off right there. So, we'll let that set. So, this is going to be the backup. Yeah. Yeah, you can tell by looking at it. Of course, you know, this thing's rounded. This is nice and sharp. So, there we go. This is going to be the backup. This will be the go-to one. We'll set that there. So, let me go ahead and move the camera over here. Spin you guys down here, show you what we got going on. Now, I've already got it blocked up and braced up. We've got it sitting on the floor, and I've got on the other side here, I've already got a couple pieces of wood, so that way you're not just clamping. I'll get you guys a better angle here. You guys can see what I got going on, because I want you to see this. Because everybody always has questions. What about this? What about that? So if I get you guys a good angle, then you can see what's going on. Alright. So you can see, alright, right here, I've put some blocks in here to take up some of the similar thickness of here. Okay? Alright? Go ahead and zoom back. Whoop. Other direction. Alright. Okay. You can see on here, on this side, a little bit. I'll move you back over here so you can see what's going on, because I want you guys to be able to see this, because I always get some people that ask questions, and I love to answer questions, but I would rather show you in the video, so that way. Alright, what I've done is I have taken and marked clearly. I don't know if the camera picks it up too well, but I laid out my holes. Now, you can see on this side how we're sectioned, and instead of, again, this is a piece of accent wood, and I've had people ask me, okay, why didn't you just have it flush off at the end? Two things, like I always talk about. If you're having just a butt joint, it's going to get loose, and I wanted a different design, you know, because I wanted to, you know, make it unique and different. So we're going to overlap it. Now this has already been glued, it's set up. I used the Green Label Tight Bond, and it's already put up in the cabinet again. I keep my chemicals put up that I'm not using. So what I've done is we're going to create some drill holes here, okay, for screws that are going to go, and we're going to pre-drill, and we're also going to do some countersinks because we're going to plug the holes back, okay, and that's going to hold. So we're going to have 6 screws. You can see 1, 2, 3, and I've laid it out. And what I've done, you can see this line here from the top, because I've already removed wood for the channel here, the barrel channel. And then also on the top, I've got it marked. What I did here is so that I know, okay, this is going to be the direction of, or the layout, the fastener. Matter of fact, here's one of the fasteners that's going to go in. Okay, and I'm going to pre-drill. Now, I did this so that way I know, okay, I'm not in the way of, because we're going to have screws going this way and screws going this way. So I'm going to pre-drill with and I took and measured according to this fastener here. I've got some aircraft bits. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to drill my 1/2 inch hole first. Okay, and so because that's going to be enough room for the head to countersink. Okay, so I'm actually going to drill that first. Then I'll come in here and I'll drill down and I'll figure out my depth that I need to be. Okay, and I'll set that accordingly in the drill. And again, I'm going to put, when I go to put these in, these are going to have glue in there too. So that's the layout that we got going on. I'll back you guys up a little bit. So, whoop, other way, other left. Okay. So, because I do not have all of these, I've been meaning to. My drill guide that I have only goes from 1/8 to 3/8. I do not have the larger one that goes from 3/8 up to half, or even they have, I believe, have some that go up to like 1 inch. I would like to get those. Those are nice. Matter of fact, Big Gator Tools contacted me the other day. They did confirm that on this. Well, I've got them put up. On the older ones, you can see it's smooth, okay, and does not have a little line. On the newer ones, there's a line that coincides with the hole, so you can tell if you're lined up over your hole, okay, and he did verify that. Bruce let me know. Bruce Ramsey messaged me and let me know, because, you know, if you talk to them, I mean, they're a small company, and I have had people ask. Let me go ahead and clarify this. Mr. Bruce Ramsey, I did ask the question because I've had people ask that are local in the area, because they're in the Lewisburg, Kansas area. Hey, can we stop by and visit if they have a store? No. They're strictly in production, manufacturing, and distribution. If you have any questions, contact them, email, phone call. Their information's on their website. Again, I'll show you guys their card here. If you have any questions, contact them. Okay? You guys want to know more about their products, call them in person. I know they have stuff on Amazon, eBay. You go to their website. So if you guys have any questions or concerns about their tools, contact him. Now, he watched the last video that I did. He did confirm, as a matter of fact, they have, in the 10 years they've been in business, they have never warranted one of these, even though it's a lifetime warranty. Think about it. How could you ever, like, destroy this tool if you're using it properly? You know, and if you destroy it, everybody wants to know, okay, what were you doing? Was it correct? Was it an oddball do or die situation? So, you know, I'd be interested to know. 100% made in the USA, just like it says right there. So, excuse me. So, anyway, there we go. We're going to make do with what we got. But I've got other drill guides. I'm going to be using for the top section here, because I'm going to be coming in with a 1/2 inch wood bit first on the top. This is where the old Starrett 129 block comes in handy. Now, they have import ones of these out there. I don't know, camera's probably washing it out. But anyway, you guys have seen these. These have been around a while. I'm a big fan of these. These are really, really handy, and people have always asked, what are the holes on top? Drill/tap guide. So, 1/2 inch drill bit. You know, it'll work for what I'm doing. So we're going to still be, because our project's big enough, and I've went ahead on top and already used just a center punch and center marked my hole. So what I'm going to do first, got the 1/2 inch bit in here. Again, demonstrating using drill and tap, or drill guides for this, because we're not going to be doing any tapping, and we're going to switch up, and we're actually going to drill for these too. So what I like to do first is I'm just going to get this started. Now, I've already got my bit marked to depth. Now, if I was going to do a lot of these, I'd put a piece of tape around here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started first, okay, so that I know I've got the hole straight. What I like to do is lift it up, get right in the center of my hole, and then come down. Alright, and we're in forward. Trying to get, there we go. We're going just a little bit. see where we're at. All right, we're started. I'm started good enough. I'm confident that I know my hole's straight. Just go slow. I'm just watching my Sharpie mark here. All right, same thing. Come in here and get started, get lined up. Everybody has their own method of doing things. Okay, we're started. Now we all know drills don't do round holes, and even getting started it kind of makes a funny little deal, but I'm going to go back, since this is the African mahogany. I've got other pieces, and I'm going to actually make my filler dowels out of the same wood. And when I come in here with walnut, I've got some of this walnut, same thing. I'm going to use walnut. Now I thought about reversing it, and I thought, nah, let me just stick with, you get too much color differentiation going on, and I think it would look too busy. It wouldn't look cool. So, and like I said, when I started this whole build, first it's out of, okay, pretty is the last thing. That's way down on the list. First we want to go with, okay, function. Is it going to function properly? What can we do to make it better? There we go. And now, what we'll do is we'll come in here with, and I'll chuck up, actually. So we know that I've already pre-marked this, and I made a line. That's what this line is across here, okay, which is pretty much in line with the first hole. So we know we can come down this deep. And this is kind of how I do this, simple way. You have the faster you're going to use and come in. Now I've measured the difference between, because I don't want to let this create its own hole, because it will split hardwoods. Those of you that are not familiar with woodworking, the reason you pre-drill in woods that are hard, you remove some of the material because you want the flutes of the screw to be able to bite and hold and pull. On some woods, if they're too hard and you go to do that, what will happen is it'll push material away and it'll split, and we don't want that. Now, when we go to put these in, we are going to be putting glue in along with the fasteners, so it's not going to be just the fasteners. So we're going to have a chemical/mechanical bond in there. So we're going to be holding here, and they're going to be holding 6 holes here as well too. Now, I haven't chosen the exact screws that I'm going to go in here yet, but I figured I'd show you guys these ones from the top down. So I keep it simple. It's good to have aircraft drills around. Now, even though it is a metal bit for what we're doing, it'll work, because we've already got our center hole started in the middle. You can feel on that wood bit from that little bitty the sprue that's on the end that starts. That helps you find the center of hole. So to make sure you're drilling straight in the hole, we come over here and find, okay, what's close? There's the 3/16. All right, this is where, and you kind of have to allow. It's a lot of feel first. Okay, so we know we've got a ways to go down. This is where this drill guide comes in handy. Now, I've got one on here I could use, and it's tight. It's real tight. And I'm afraid that if I try to use the one on here, my bit would bind up. But, again, this is a drill guide. So you find the 3/16 one, you put it in there, and you get started. So, let's go ahead and do that. And I know I'm going to be really shallow on the, let's see. Okay. I love these old Black & Decker Pro Series drills. I love this thing. I've had a lot of people ask about them. If you find them out there on eBay, scoop them up. I've had this one for a very long time. I love it. Okay, 3/16. And again, at a certain point, we're going to remove the drill guide here. Make sure we find the hole in the bottom, wiggle it around, Hold it flat and steady. This is where if you could clamp your, so you're straight in the hole, you know, so you're not to the side, you have to get the fill. And you can rotate the guard to make sure you're holding correct. This is where I'm kind of eyeballing each side of the hole. Make sure I have equal space all the way around. Yeah. Oh, see, that's why it wasn't lining up. Trying to find that little spot right in the middle. The struggles of doing stuff by hand, making sure you're exactly in the middle where you want to be. Okay, there we go. That looks better, because I was like, nah, nothing lining up. So if you kind of got equal spacing around your bit, alright. So holding this bit, again, it's just a screw hole, but we want it even. Now I know there's a bunch of junk in there. Cue the vacuum. And just to make sure we're clear, now I've already made sure the compressor ran so it won't kick on. There. Okay. And of course the handy dandy, yep, okay. Now we know we've got to go down a little bit more. But since we got majority of the hole straight, we know we're good. Alright, so that one's good. Wash, rinse, repeat. Find our little divot on this hole here. Holding it straight and square. Making sure that everything looks, feeling the gauge. That's why you have that square bottom so you can kind of tell. Plus you look at things. This is where it'd be nice if you had someone else that's like to the left, to the right, or hold, if you could hold a little square up there. Again, trying to do this stuff by hand is, you know, there's different ways to do it. Ideally, I would love to set this up in the mill, but I don't want to go through retramming the head and this and that and the other. Again, you're not going to see these, but we want to get it as straight as possible so we're not coming out the side or, you know. It's all part of the perfectionist deal. Alright, you can tell that definitely got warm. And I will say one thing, the walnut is a little bit harder for those of you that are curious about. A little bit harder than the African mahogany, and that's just because of the nature of it. And again, this isn't, this was a little bit, I call the sapwood, because the pieces I got, you could see some of the fuzziness from the bark and stuff on the outside. So this was definitely a piece of sapwood is what I would call it, not heartwood. But it's good stuff. Alright. And we'll get a little blast of air just to make sure everything's out. There we go. So there's one way to do it. Using the drill guide. So there you go. I use them all the time in doing things like this instead of doing like a crazy setup like I did when I was showing drilling the buttstock. Now the reason I did that, and I had a lot of people ask, there's a bunch of different ways to do it, I know. But it was just, I wanted to have, I wasn't doing it to, hey, look at the oddball setup I can do. It was just, that's the first thing I thought of with what I have available to me. Just, again, you work with what you have available. These drill and tap guides are handy, handy, handy. So, again, You know, they have import ones of these. I think these run in the $50 to $75 range. Sometimes you can find cheaper. But I've got an import one, and it works fine. I haven't noticed any big difference other than it is thinner in here. It's not as thick. But again, I use these primarily for, I want to make sure that I'm not bouncing or dinging things. I have some rubber ones that I use all the time in gunsmithing, and they work great. I use this a lot for things just like this, for size that I don't have. I mean, it just depends on what you got going on. What I like using these for, and you can also use these. Here's another use for your drill and tap guides for those of you that are curious. And so you've got that little groove in there. You're trying to knock a roll pin out. That's what that groove is for, is to lay your device or pin. You need to knock a roll pin out. They got a couple different holes. Okay. Let's say you're trying to drive a roll pin out of something, and depending on the size of it, diameter, you know, even in the bigger ones, you know, put that sucker down on the table, and you want to make sure you drive the pin out. You could use that to, you know, line up, and just that way you're lining up on your pin. It's an idea, you know. More than one uses for just a drill or tap guide. There you go. So these are going to be the screws I'm going to set up, because they're actually a Torx head. People are wanting to know, where'd you get these from? These are left over from when I got my lathe. They used a bunch, and there's some that are even longer that I've got over there. I've removed these, the ones that were good. There was about 2 dozen of them that were used to hold my pallet together, and I disassembled them. So they've got a Torx head, and they're really, really aggressive screw fastener. So I don't know if that's anything you can get commercially. I'm sure you can. You look around. There's a myriad of different screws and fasteners and things out there, but that's what's going to go in. So we're that deep down in there. Yep. So that's how deep we're going to go, and we've drilled down. And when we get ready to, I'm going to set up the fastener, and it's going to be a Torx bit, and I'm going to get my setup to make sure everything is clear. I may have to specialty make a driver to fit down in there, because they do not believe. Again, I'm going to run this in with a power drill. I'm not going to do this by hand because the glue will set up. So we'll have to end up getting a, see if I have one set up for already. That might fit. It's a Torx 20 or 25. Let's see. Pull out my favorite James Deadman bit holder. I use that thing all the time, James. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That is handy, handy, handy. So it's a 25. Okay, those are Torx 25 in the head there. So we'll put these back in here where they go. Little Delrin holder's handy. It really, really, really is. And I keep it right up here with all my other little bits that I use all the time. So that should fit down in there. Oh yeah, that'll fit. Let's do it. Let's don't just talk about it. Let's do it. Are we going to fit? Oh yeah, we're definitely going to fit. We got plenty of room. Well, let's pull out our good drill. I call it the good drill. This is my Makita drill that I got. I love this thing. Works great for making the mill go up and down. And we got time left. Okay, so yes, for those of you that are curious, that's the model number. Love this thing. Comes with 2 batteries. It is a Haas deal. Torque, speed. It's got your clutch settings. I just leave it there because we're going to be driving. Let me grab the good glue. I have, you have different glues for different applications. Those of you that are woodworkers, you guys know what I'm talking about. Fast set, slow set. And I always store them standing upside down. So there's my tight bond that I'm using. So I always have a cup that I store them in upside down. And you always got to clean the little stuff off the end before you get started. Not a big deal. Take your hook scale, just kind of rake it across the end. So, big fan of the tight bond. I have Elmer's too. I just have a bunch that's left over from projects. So we're going to go ahead and first, let's get our tools ready. And we're ready to go. All All right. Fresh battery, everything's in. Doesn't take much. We'll just do one hole at a time first. Sucked it down in there a little bit. Now I'll go back and clean all this stuff off the bit so it doesn't glue it in there. And yes, it will glue still together. You can get it off, and I'll show you how. All right, and our second one. You don't want to get carried away, and because it will pull the head down in there. I've seen it happen. I've seen this happen so many times on different things. Guys will use sheetrock screws or even the other thin wood screws, and they'll think, I've really got to suck down on it. You do two things. Number one, you break the head of the fastener off, and I've seen that happen a lot. Guys get carried away putting up wafer wood, and they think, I can suck it down. They'll pull it in so hard, they end up pulling the fastener through. You know, you just want it, if you want to countersink it, drill a hole. But you want to pull it down flush. But I've seen guys like on wafer wood or whatever, they'll take and they'll pull it down so hard it pulls through the material. Or after a while, time goes, a couple of weeks or a month goes by, and all of a sudden the board is up and you're like, what's going on? I had a guy helping me build a deck in Kentucky one time, and I was like, I'm really putting them in there. I'm like, yeah, you're like driving them plumb through the boards. I had a bunch of 5/4 or 6/4 pressure treated decking board, and I'm like, they just got to be flush if you pull them down through, because when it dries, sure enough, a couple months down the road, I had boards popping up because he had pushed them almost over halfway through the wood, and so when they dried out, they just went ahead and pulled the rest of the way. So don't get carried away over tightening your fasteners, because when things dry out, again, this is already dry, but you can do couple things. You can pull the head off the fastener. How many times have we been using, and I'm guilty of it, I've done it before, for just holding stuff up around here. I've just used, at times sheetrock screws, and they're soft, they're made for sheetrock, but you get carried away, pop, you snap the head off. Number two, you pull it down so hard, as time changes or weather changes, especially stuff that's going to be outside, it'll eventually pull through the wood. All it has to be is where the top is flush. Don't get carried away and think you got to, you've got to like try to drill it all the way through to the center of the earth. That's not good. Number three, when you over tighten things like that, and you have that head and it comes in there and it's got an angle on it, whatever the angle may be, you get carried away, and we've pre-drilled because we don't want to split anything. You get over because we've created a hole like this, and you over tighten it, and it's going to split the wood. Defeat the purpose of doing the pre-drill and the countersink holes and all that. So there you go. Hope you've enjoyed another short series shenanigan here. Go check them out. Check the link down at the bottom. Okay? Description, Big Gator Tools. And www.vdrillguide.com, and the other, just follow the link. Click the link up here. YouTube 2016 Bash, Stan Zakowski, Rancho Cucamonga, California. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, because remember, at the end of the day, you and your family is all you got. Until next time, you guys and gals, be safe, have fun gluing things together, and look forward to tuning in. Share the word about my channel. Click the like button down at the bottom. Thumbs up. Positive comments are encouraged. My public email address, eaglestuff37@gmail.com. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Follow me along Instagram and Twitter. There you go. All that other good stuff. We're going to continue on building the rest of the gun stock. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.